in the early shear.
Yes.
Okay, how much minutes do we have here now? 5?
Seven.
7.
Seven.
Okay, let's see if we can go to page Ayin Zion and finish what we didn't do yesterday on Shin Nun Vav. I see coming ahead is going to be a little more complicated, which is good. He says that we're just reading a light print. It says Atar Nevara Lanu Harav Heich Nirmaz Hamalbush and Nizgar. So we're talking about Malbish Harumim and a nos in the Yoev Koach. B'Shem Kale. How does the name Kale work like this? V'hinei v'hu b'derek zeh goes like this. Ki shnei pamim Kale b'maluim. If you take it in a Milui form, it has a gematria of 111, and then Lamed Dalet is 74. 111 and 74. He says that makes 370. He says oile b'gematria shen ayin. Now, so this is something we know already. V'mitzarfim as a shmona osios yesh b'shem Kale. So then you take the pashut and the male, you put them. Wait a minute. See, the shmona osios sheyesh b'shem Kale, pashut umale gazeh. So just take the letters themselves, which we saw somewhere where the letters themselves represent the malchus of the idea. I just don't know exactly how or why they do this, why they add them in like this. But you come to the number 378. Then he says Shenayin Ches, what is that? Who mispar malbush. So you see that there's a hint to this in the fact that it has the same gematria as malchus, as malbush. So now we're seeing how it is that this malbush comes from the name Kale. He says Haneshama baboa la'olam haza. So the neshama, which comes from through malchus of Etzilus, possibly he mislaveshes balavush anikra aloka. Now, is this I asked you this yesterday. I can't remember this word aqua that Rabbi Mimram was saying, but it comes from this name. So he, huh? Okay. All right. So yeah, I just lost track of that. That's a name that. Okay, so it comes from the word aloka. So he says Sheshem aloka nechlach l'shnei chalokim. One is Kale and the other one was Vav K. So this actually describes the movement of the Kale into the Vav K. Kavanah zera b'Hashem hu, the Kavanah here, ki hamalvush and nizkar, the clothing we're talking about, nimshach b'Shem Kale, which we saw in the I guess in the pashut of the male. It's not the pashut; it's the number of letters in the male, and also the male itself. Bepanim shel erek anpin. It goes to the vav hey shuhu hazun ki havav hu hazah shuhu shisha ketzvos, because of course we know that v'hu meromas b'vav shel shem avaya. V'hanuk he ha final that's the vav hey achrona sheshem avaya. V'kanal, like we mentioned up above, shemi shechata b'chet chamor. So a person that does something really serious, mispashet b'menda the gamrach malvush the hagadusha. So he completely loses his lavush. But makom b'biker, that is, and he just explained what lavush is. Lavush is that 378. So b'boker mischadesh the gamer zechal malvush, but in the morning it comes completely new. V'kanal shemi shechata b'chet kal. A person has a minor sin. V'nechlash b'lavush nishmaso, and then his lavush, his 378, is weakened, and he's talking about the shining that's coming from Eric Anpen. V'enim mispasha b'mena the gamer, doesn't leave him completely. Birchas anos in the yoev koach. So this is a person who has a weak light shining at him. The who l'chazek is halavush nechlash, and so it comes now. It's going to that the yoev koach is coming to strengthen the lavush of that has been weakened. Ach lo lahavi lo malvush chadash, but it's not the same as bringing it completely new malvush. So he said v'chadavar. So let's see what we're talking about here, and this is where it's finishing up. So he says v'chadavar mavur bezos and his bayer b'tov tam v'das. Say the Kavanah shtei brachos. What is the order of these two brachos? Shehem malbush agumim v'chanais in the yoev koach. So we understand what the concept of malbush is. and we understand the concept of the lights that are coming down and why we need these two brachos, and those are the kavanos in those two brachos. Now the next part has a little arichas to it. Should I could start it? Well, we want it when we come back. We want to learn the Sifra Tzniuta. Let's just look at this. This is we have what? 4 minutes?
No.
2. Okay, it's really okay, but I can't. I'll just read a little bit. It's as an ahara shalol lilvo shnei malvushe beyachad. What should be the problem with this? So the Inyan and Nizkar and what it's really talking about. V'dash ein tov la'adan lilvo shnei malvushe beyachad. Why not? What's the problem? V'ha'osikain kasha l'shikcha. It becomes a problem for shikcha. V'so the davar. So what's the secret? Ki hine malvush, which we know is 378. Malvush Adam, who min kedusha, it's coming from the kedusha. But unfortunately, because we make mistakes, Goram the Hislavish Beklipa, it winds up that this goes to the other side instead of to the kedusha. For she is asku klipos bel malvusha, and then the klipos get a hold of that garment, which he said before is this 378. V'hina malvushim yesh bechem bechinas or hamakif mechutz lachem kenoida v'yesh or penimi bifnim. So he says that there's a concept here that he says the lavush itself has two aspects: is the penimius and the chitzonius. So he says one of is a makif. He doesn't use the word chitzonius. He just says the makis on the outside. V'nichlal b'tocha guf. That is the part or the penimi. V'hamalbush sovev as a guf. Now we're saying now he says that this light from Eric Anpin is surrounding the body. He said al malbush heim ha'oras and mekifim, and on that malbush are these surrounding lights. And they are standing outside of the clothing that people are wearing. This clothing, but he said that particular clothing, or makif, so every garment that you put on has a makif in regards to it. So there's nothing that pushes away. The light is so strong. Now obviously he's saying that it comes from the 378, so he says that it pushes, nothing can push the klippas away more than that. The fish ain't gechola beklipa, liyalev liyitzchazek or hamakim, because they can't reach it, it's just too strong. For the chaim hu omed bechutz. Okay, that's it. Okay.